Hello, this is Eric of Spark E-Studio, and welcome to my review of the Presonus Quantum ES2, the best audio interface of 2024, or is it? So we're going to see how this functions and compare it to the Vocaster Two, of course. So let's get started. Spark E-Studio. Yeah. When looking at the face of the Presonus, we see there's 48 volts phantom power for a condenser microphone versus a dynamic. So condenser requires 48 volts phantom power. We have channel 1 and 2, as well as a mute button that doesn't work to mute to your PC, but it can mute to monitor out, which I'm going to do, of course, during the filming of this video to my camera. Looking at the back side, we have a physical on-off switch, USB-C for power and a USB-C for data, as well as a monitor out, 2 1/4-inch jacks that is, and 2 more 1/4-inch line jacks, which have low volume because it doesn't use a preamp, as well as XLR included in one. And of course, we also have the MIDI on top. Now this MIDI on top you'll see is 3.5 millimeters. You have to get an adapter for 5-pin MIDI adapter anyways. This audio interface is 24-bit. The difference between 16-bit is we have more headroom to boost volumes, sample rate of up to 192 kilohertz. Metal, nice body. It doesn't get overly hot, so that's good. In terms of this flashing, that means you don't have enough power. It did not work to my Android mobile phone, even with supplemental power, so keep that in mind. Now, another reason this can go red as well, connection problem to your PC. In my case, I had a problem once, and I had to reboot my PC. USB Type-C is the cable included, USB Type-C to C, and you might think, oh, just replace it. Because a 1.5 meter cable is long enough for everyone, isn't it? And having USB-C to USB-C, so USB-C to your PC, is something that everyone has, correct? Maybe in the future, but not right now. So let me show you different cables that are USB Type-C to A to the PC and what happens. Right now this connected with the included cable, no problems, we see the blue and everything. But watch what happens when I use a different cable. So I'm going to use this one, a USB Type A to C. Here we go. There's the red light flashing. Let's get my Vocaster Two. Oh, it works. Vocaster 2 works with that cable, but not the Quantum. Here, USB 3 cable. Nice thick thing, it must work. Okay, now we have a Quantum. Red light's flashing, it's not working. Let's try the Vocaster 2. It works. Now how about this short one? Oh, there goes the red light again. Let's try the Vocaster. Oh, and it works to the Vocaster. Right now I'm connecting monitor out to my digital camera. I have an interface on my camera to record 1/4-inch. And this will allow me to display the mute button. You could always get a 1/8-inch jack or a 3.5 millimeter, that is, stereo to mono 6.35 millimeters. Works just fine to do that as well. Right now we are on firmware 1.96, and I have the newest software and the newest firmware as of yesterday, and nothing else popped up today. So there we go. This is what you're getting right here, right now. How does the auto gain work? You can't just press auto in here. It's not doing a darn thing. It's a red light. Now we have to select that audio channel we want to auto gain. So I'm going to press 1. And when I press auto gain, well, it's working. One thing that's going to happen is that my volume is going to go down. So let's press this, and right now we see this little countdown timer. We're going to speak at normal volumes, and it's going to count down, and it's going to adjust the volume based upon how we're speaking, which is awesome. There we go. I now have the volume auto gained, and it shows 38 decibels. And the cool thing about this is it shows the decibels of gain for your audio device. One thing to note is this is a stereo device, meaning you're going to either play through the left or right speaker. You can always fix that through software, choose mono, or choose simply one channel audio. However, having this as stereo, being left or right channel, is far more professional and a far more useful feature. I'll show you why. This is Eric of Spark E-Studio. What are your thoughts on the crime situation? The crime happening, it's always been happening for all of eternity. It's not like things have gotten worse at all. What are you speaking of? Laws, at least in Canada and the US, especially the US, allow crime up to a couple $1,000s. Those businesses make so much money they're getting what they deserve. About time someone teaches them a lesson. This situation means we all pay more at the storefront. Not good for anyone. I can edit both left and right channel audio separately. So if someone's more quiet, I can fix that and post-edit very easy on their one channel versus my channel. Now, if you blend them together, you are stuck separate fixing that. And if they speak at the same time, well, good luck. When doing monitor out, you can actually change stereo or mono just simply by clicking these little two knobs right here and right here on your microphone. And there you go. You have your left and right channel. If I go crazy and I clip the audio, it's like, yes, they won! I distorted to heck. Probably. Right now, we're listening to the Vocaster with the Vocaster Hub software open. And one thing we can do, I can clip it as well, but there's a catch. Now let's try the Vocaster with the compressor on. I can't guarantee it won't distort the audio despite not clipping because I think the software is a joke. So let's try this. Let's give a shout to the world and test this audio. Am I clipping? I don't know. Yeah. I can press enhance and then change my audio just like that. So I can change how my sound is right there, just playing around with this. And yeah, really cool stuff there. ES2 has no compressor. Compressor is very useful. It's software level, sure, but it's useful to have. It's done through software. If you're doing game streaming and you're just you, I would recommend the option of the Elgato Wave XLR. The Elgato Wave XLR is an amazing piece of kit. Only one channel audio, but for game streaming, I can mix all the audio, I can mix the music together, I can mix the gameplay volume together, I can change the volumes of everything, including my speaking volume, using the app. If you're looking at a Vocaster Two or, say, the Elgato Wave XLR, the mute is more like a mute, but if you have the Universal Audio Apollo, that's just simply what you'd kind of expect. But this is what it is, and as long as you know how to use it, that's really not a problem, is it? Let's discuss some differences between this Presonus Quantum ES2 and the Vocaster 2. The Vocaster 2 has 3.5mm you can use to your camera. It also has 3.5mm or TRS input for audio as well as Bluetooth. Now, if I go to the next thing, the 48 volts phantom power, you have to turn on manually after you power it on. This keeps the 48 volts phantom power on, which as far as I'm concerned makes this far more professional. This also has MIDI in, so if you have a VST, you can work with MIDI input in your system. I don't know how to do it properly. MIDI is not what I do, so I'm not gonna get into that. This 1/4-inch jack is non-amplified, super clear, great for connecting mixers. You're not going to connect a mixer to this at all. You're not going to connect a guitar to this at all. Even if you use the Rode VXLR Pro with a 1/4-inch proper adapter, it distorts. So keep that in mind. You can use a lavalier using the VXLR Pro to this, but this will give you superior audio experience, I must say. Now let's get to a couple more details. If I click number 2, I can choose 48 volts phantom power. There's no mic connector right now, but that's just to show you. I can see that. And if you notice, this is going to turn from white to blue. That's because it's auto-locked and the volume is not going to change after. So we're going to wait about 5 seconds and normally that should there it goes. It's auto-locked. And setting 1, 48 volts phantom power, again, it will auto-lock the volume. So if I actually change right now the volume right here, it's going to change the volume to my, well, that clipped a bit. Either way, I'll change the volume to that channel. Now, if I click on main, I can change the volume out to my camera, and I'm increasing it and increasing it and increasing it some more. That's the monitor out. It doesn't lock. Very convenient that way. Headphone. We can also see it says green, and I can increase and decrease the headphone volume. I don't have the headphones on right now, but the headphone port and the main out port is really good audio, so no complaints there. Right now I'm using the Fine Tank 3, and one thing that this microphone has is a neutral tone. Right now I'm using the dynamic microphone, the Fine AM8, connected to XLR And this is a dynamic microphone, which means we do not use phantom power. Now these inputs right here, this 1/4 inch, has a trim function. When you actually have it connected this way, it doesn't use the preamps. You're not going to get very loud volume whatsoever. Great for putting a mixer in that has a lot of gain, and you don't want to distort the audio. There's no amplification in here. It's just clean audio. Now we can hear me. I'm using the Comica TrackShot Pro, and yes, this is a self-purchase. Just like this device, just like this device, and the Rode VXLR self-purchase. The Lewis Ray self-purchase. The instrument in port has a lot more volume. There is no mic power on the trim out, the line in without preamp. There is no mic power on the instrument port, but the instrument port has a lot of gain to it, so no problems there. And of course, you can still auto gain your instrument port, but you can't auto gain your port down that line, which is going to show trim. This only has one instrument port. What are you going to do? Maybe you should have got the ES4. Or you can simply use the Rode VXLR Pro, which I showed earlier. Use an adapter to 1/4 inch. Connect it. Connect your guitar to left or right channel, and you have stereo guitars with the same loud gain volume as the instrument port. Hack revealed. And we also are recording on OBS, but yeah. So let's open up our software back here. We have a low cut filter, and it still works just fine. And we can turn on and off our 40 volts phantom power, which I'm connected to preamp right now. So if I turn that off, you're not going to hear me. Here is our microphone right now. This is the channel. If I press mute, it's both muted to camera and to my headphones. Now, if I press this, this is solo. That's what S is. Now, if I solo the other channel, I'm going to lose. When I soloed, its monitor out is soloed out because I went on where there's no microphone, see? And if I solo on the channel mat, I'm always going to have sound. I can solo certain channels together, and that way I can simply get the sound from those channels to my monitor out or my headphones. But again, see, PC is still recording, not a problem. Everything seems to be working still. Okay, that's fine, okay. I don't have this other thing looping back, so we're not using loop back right now, so that's fine. And an unmuted camera, but my headphone was still showing sound. Yeah. Now, if I go to mute on the device, so right here, I'm on the device now. I don't know what I'm muted to. Let's see. Muted to main out to my camera. And if I go to a headphone and I press, again, muted to my camera. Here are some more settings within the software. We can change our LED brightness on the device itself and add more brightness or less. It's on 75%. And the dim amount, that's our mute dim amount. So we're going to change our mute button to dim. And that's going to dim our audio to our mains out, or I believe, or headphone. So I can dim the amount of that single microphone, see? And the mute button is no longer red anymore, and I can boost it. So I can actually change the dim amount. So let's see. I can dim it really low. So now I'm going to go back to 1 again, and I'm going to mute it dim. So that's dim function again. Let's go back, and back, and now the dim button doesn't do anything. And that's a cool feature it has for changing mute button function. So if I want to, I could loop back different devices together, different volumes here. If I want to go this way or fader flip, I kind of prefer this view, but that's kind of cool. So let's say that instrument here and whatever. Studio One will have all these instrument things in there, so I can actually loop it back and add everything together through this Quantum ES2 if we had that software. So interesting to note. Now, when would you use this? You wouldn't use this with a condenser microphone. 48 volts phantom power, that converts 48 volts phantom power to extra gain. You're going to use it with a dynamic microphone like the Shure SM7B, which is a dynamic microphone, no 48 volt phantom power. Also, you can call this a cloud lifter, same idea, but this is an inline preamp if you want to go by proper terms. Right now, we're listening to the fine AM8 connected with a preamp inline. Only 26 dB, super quiet, a lot of gain volume. I like it, nice and quiet. So we now seen the good and the bad of this audio interface. But what makes the Presonus Quantum ES2 the clean preamps of this device? It has a lot of compatibility using the right adapters, and it has unique software, but I find it kind of limiting. But either way, choice is ultimately yours, what works for you. This is Eric of Sparky Studio. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and help this channel grow. And if you are subscribed or are subscribing right now, then you, yes, you are awesome. Thanks again for watching and have yourselves a most wonderful day.